The emergency room was roaring with chaos when Hannah Moore stepped through its sliding doors for the very first time, her heart pounding so hard it almost drowned out the alarms, the rushing feet, and the sharp commands echoing down the hallway. It was her first shift as a registered nurse in one of the busiest trauma hospitals in Southern California, and she carried not only a brand new badge but a lifetime of quiet fears and fragile hopes. She was small, soft-spoken, and looked far younger than her 26 years, which made her an easy target for doubt. Within minutes, a few senior staff exchanged glances, smirks forming as they noticed her trembling hands and hesitant steps. No one expected much from her, and some were already certain she would not last the week. But no one, not even Hannah herself, could have imagined that before the night ended, a Navy helicopter would be circling overhead, urgently requesting her by name. Before the story unfolds, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of determination, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps bring more meaningful stories like this to life and spreads hope to people who need it most. Hannah had grown up in a small coastal town in Oregon, raised by a single mother who worked double shifts as a nursing aide to keep food on the table. Hospitals had been part of Hannah's life long before she chose nursing as her path. She spent countless nights in waiting rooms, watching her exhausted mother change into scrubs and disappear behind swinging doors, returning hours later with tired eyes but a gentle smile. Those memories shaped her dream, yet they also planted deep anxiety. She knew how heavy the responsibility was, how every decision could tilt the balance between life and death. That weight followed her into the emergency room that night, pressing against her chest as she tried to stay invisible, hoping no one would notice how overwhelmed she felt. The ER staff, hardened by years of trauma cases, saw hundreds of new nurses come and go. They could usually tell within minutes who would survive the pressure. To them, Hannah looked fragile, uncertain, and slow. A few whispered that she belonged on a quiet medical floor, not in trauma. Others openly laughed when she hesitated over equipment or double-checked medication labels, calling her overly cautious. Each small mistake, each delayed step, seemed to confirm their assumptions. Hannah heard the snickers, felt the stares, and swallowed her embarrassment, forcing herself to breathe steadily. She reminded herself that competence came from patience, not speed, and that fear could be transformed into focus. As the night deepened, the emergency room surged with incoming patients. Car accidents, cardiac arrests, violent injuries, and sudden collapses blurred into a relentless stream. Hannah worked tirelessly, assisting wherever she could, moving from bed to bed, cleaning wounds, monitoring vitals, and offering quiet comfort. Her movements became steadier, her mind sharper, but the sense of being an outsider lingered. Still, she refused to give up. Every life she touched reminded her why she was there. Each grateful glance from a patient fueled her resolve to keep going. Near midnight, the hospital received a call that shifted the entire atmosphere. A Navy training exercise off the coast had gone disastrously wrong. A transport vehicle carrying specialized medical equipment had crashed during a night maneuver, severely injuring several sailors. One of them, a young aviation mechanic named Christopher Hale, had sustained massive trauma and required immediate advanced care. Weather conditions made traditional transport impossible, so the Navy dispatched a helicopter to rush him to the nearest trauma center. As preparations began, a strange request came through. The flight medic, after checking hospital records, specifically asked for Nurse Hannah Moore to be present upon arrival. At first, the staff assumed there had been a mistake. Hannah froze when she heard her name called. Her mind raced, searching for any connection to the Navy or military medicine, but she had none. Confusion spread across the unit as supervisors double-checked the request. Moments later, confirmation arrived. The medic insisted, stating that Hannah had previously saved Christopher's life in a field emergency 2 years earlier, and her familiarity with his rare blood disorder and complex trauma history could be the difference between survival and death. 2 years earlier, before earning her nursing license, Hannah had volunteered as an emergency medical responder during a large coastal disaster drill that turned real when a boat collision injured dozens. Among the wounded was Christopher, suffering from internal bleeding and a rare clotting condition. While others panicked, Hannah's calm assessment and rapid response stabilized him until surgeons could intervene. They had exchanged few words, but the memory had burned into the flight medic's mind, and Christopher himself had spoken of her often, calling her the reason he lived. The laughter in the ER evaporated. Skepticism turned to stunned silence as realization dawned. The new nurse they had mocked carried experience far beyond what her soft appearance suggested. The room transformed into a coordinated storm of preparation. Trauma teams assembled, surgical suites readied, blood units aligned. Hannah stood at the center, steady and focused, guiding the setup with surprising authority. Fear faded, replaced by instinct and purpose. The helicopter's thunderous approach rattled windows, and the weight of the moment settled heavily on everyone present. When Christopher arrived, his condition was critical. His injuries were extensive, his breathing labored, his pulse dangerously weak. Hannah moved with calm precision, coordinating care, monitoring subtle changes, and anticipating complications others might have missed. Her deep knowledge of his medical history allowed her to adjust treatment instantly, preventing reactions that could have been fatal. Hours passed in intense concentration as surgeons worked tirelessly. Through it all, Hannah remained unwavering, a quiet anchor amid chaos. As dawn crept through the windows, the final update came. Christopher was alive. He remained in critical condition, but the immediate danger had passed. Relief washed through the department like a tide, leaving behind exhaustion, gratitude, and awe. Slowly, eyes turned toward Hannah. The same colleagues who had doubted her now regarded her with newfound respect. Apologies came in hushed tones, mixed with sincere admiration. Hannah listened quietly, her heart full, not of pride, but of humility and deep gratitude. She had never wanted recognition, only the chance to serve. In the days that followed, word of the incident spread throughout the hospital and beyond. The Navy formally thanked the staff, and Hannah received a letter of commendation for her decisive role in saving a life. Yet the greatest reward came when Christopher, still weak but conscious, sent a message expressing his profound gratitude. He spoke of hope, resilience, and the unseen heroes who stand ready in humanity's darkest hours. His words reminded Hannah that every small effort mattered, that kindness and competence often went unnoticed until the moment they were desperately needed. The ER itself began to change. Laughter born of cruelty faded, replaced by teamwork and understanding. New nurses were treated with patience rather than judgment. Senior staff remembered their own beginnings, their own fears, and the mentors who had guided them. Hannah's presence became a quiet inspiration, proof that strength could exist within gentleness, and courage could thrive beneath humility. As weeks turned into months, Hannah grew into her role, her confidence blossoming naturally. She mentored new arrivals, offering reassurance instead of criticism, teaching them that mistakes were lessons, not failures. Her story became part of the hospital's culture, a reminder that no one should be measured by first impressions alone. Through compassion and perseverance, she transformed not only her own life but the environment around her. And now, as you reflect on Hannah's journey, consider how many people around us struggle silently, carrying unseen strengths and hidden battles. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps spread messages of hope, empathy, and second chances to countless others who may need them. Before the ending, we have a special request. Please comment the word hope if you believe that kindness can change lives and that no effort is ever wasted. Because sometimes, the ones the world underestimates become the very souls who rise when it matters most, reminding us that compassion, perseverance, and quiet courage can rewrite destinies and heal hearts in ways no one expects.